So last night, Sophie Cunningham actually responded to, the Kiki area fan takedown.
The gym as a whole held its breath. Sophie Cunningham was shoved like it was by Mystics rookie Kiki Iran. Because Sophie Cunningham isn't one to take disrespect lying down, she shot up like a fireworks, stormed over to Kiki, and let loose a line so heated that the broadcast team probably fumbled to hit the censor button. Just as the temperature spiked, Dana Bonner and Lexi Holt charged in ready to support their girl. But as spicy as the court got, it was what happened later that sent the basketball world into a frenzy. Sophie's clapback was so witty that it seemed like a mic drop from space.
Man, I'm looking forward to when is the first game? May the 29th or May the 28th. I am looking forward to that. But Sophie Cunningham responded right here with an Instagram story about it. And these two teams do not like each other. They do not like each other.
However, let's take a moment to reflect on how everything came together. I realize it wasn't revealed until just before, but this is a preseason game, and even though Clark isn't available, you probably, yes, you did hear correctly. Instead of competing in a basketball game, a rookie really body slammed a veteran to the hardwood, as if she were trying out for a football squad, and not just any veteran. Sophie Cunningham is an accomplished baller who holds a black belt, and it appears that Kiki Iran the Mystic, a recent college graduate, decided that a preseason match was the ideal opportunity to make her WWE debut. The slam was blatantly unnecessary and extremely disrespectful. It wasn't a defensive move, a hard scream, or even a foul with strategic intent. Rather, it was a statement that said, "I want attention." In response, Sophie said, "Be careful what you wish for." If you support Sophie and the entire Fever crew, leave a comment below heated up for the Fever and let's go. Are you ready to hear how Sophie broke her silence?
What are we doing? Right there, you can see Sophie telling her, after that flagrant, "You don't mother effing do that. You don't mother effing do that."
You don't bleeping do that, Sophie barked, essentially summarizing every veteran sentiment observed from home. That's not just adrenaline, that's earned dignity talking. You don't knock down bets like that unless you're trying to become public enemy number one. Sophie's response was swift and righteous. She sprang up and got in Kiki's face as though she was defending the WNBA's honor. Kiki grinned, but it wasn't the "oops, my bad" type. This was the villain art grin of someone who believes that starting an argument gets you strikes. Warning. Spoilers. It doesn't.
And that's Kiki Arafin, and I gotta tell you, here we go with the smiling like you've done. I don't get it. This is the worst part of the WNBA. It is. A ton of reaction. The smiles afterward, let's get negative.
However, the Mystics weren't done attacking Cunningham. Later in the game, Brittany Sykes gave him another needless shove that sent him crashing to the ground once more. This wasn't subtle. It wasn't basketball. It was bullying, and there was a clear pattern of Washington players picking on Cunningham.
This was another one right here. This was Brittany Sykes, and DeWanna Bonner got involved in this one. She did. Little standing on business.
Then the cavalry Dana arrived. To ensure that the Mystics knew this wasn't going unanswered, Bonner wasted no time in stepping up and going straight toward Brittany Sykes. It was as if a team alarm went off. One of them had been hit, and now everyone was on deck. That's what true teams do. You mess with one Fever player and deal with the entire hive.
And all I will say is it's going to be a fun couple of games. The Fever, when is the first time they played the Mystics? This is what you want to see. You want to see hype.
Reviewing the video again reveals that this wasn't even close to a basketball move. Instead of boxing her out under the rim, Kiki grabbed her and slammed her to the floor. It was a play with no basketball significance that screamed, "I want a headline," and sure enough, she got one, but it wasn't the kind she wanted.
It's going to lead to a heated rivalry game. It's going to be leading to that, on the 28th of May, we are still in the month of May. We get to watch these two teams go at it again. And I stand by this. This was absolutely not. This is not going to be the first time or last time Sophie Cunningham is going to get into some sort of a brawl next season. Yeah, this was the response. I'm just a girl, but I only play WWE with my sister, so chill. And obviously while posting a clip of that.
As anticipated, social media was ablaze with angry Times Square fans. From casual viewers to die-hard WNBA fans, everyone attacked the Mystics for introducing street fight energy to a sport that is based on skill, accuracy, and respect for one another. The general consensus was that it wasn't a cheap shot or a power move, and even as Coach Stephanie White attempted to defuse the situation during the post-game press conference, Sophie's face revealed the whole truth.
Yeah, kind of random thrown to the ground. Maybe I need to hit the weight room. That was not a good look. But she had my back, and I think that's what it's all about, right? I think that we have a huge target on our backs, and I don't think that's a secret. And so making sure that our locker room's like this, and that will naturally flow onto the court, and I think you guys saw that today.
However, this is where things became famous. Sophie did something much better than demand a league review or turn into a drama. Instead, she posted the year's most nonchalantly scathing answer on Instagram, devoid of any paragraphs or emotional outbursts. "I'm just a girl, and I only play WWE with my sister," was the sole frosty post. Therefore, the subtext, "Don't flatter yourself. You're not the villain, you're the warm-up act," is instantly classic. Yes, I was tossed to the ground really randomly. Perhaps I should go to the weight room, that although it didn't seem good, she had my back, and I believe that's what matters most. I believe we have a big bullseye on our backs, and I don't think that's a secret. Therefore, I think you guys witnessed that today, and that's how you shut someone down without much effort. We need to make sure that our locker rooms look like this, and that will flow easily onto the field. Sophie tried to flex while Kiki used comedy as a scalpel. Sophie reminded her, and the league as a whole, of who the true adults are. That line didn't simply brush the incident aside. Rather, it buried it behind a mountain of indifference. Cunningham didn't recoil. Instead, she retaliated with a sneer and a confidence that befitted a black belt. Speaking of black belts, did we mention that Sophie received hers in Taekwondo at the age of 6? That's right, when most of us were having trouble tying our shoes. Sophie was already receiving instruction in controlled strength and precise attacks, so Kiki chose to engage in combat with a martial artist, wearing sneakers rather than merely picking a fight.
She earned a black belt in Taekwondo at 6 years old. You can earn a black belt at 6 years old? I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, Sophie Cunningham is... I would say Sophie Cunningham is not someone you'll mess with. Everyone messes with Sophie Cunningham.
It incidentally made Sophie's sly caption 10 times more heartless. It wasn't merely a show. Rather, it was a covert warning. In essence, she was saying, "I could have handled this another way, but you're not even worth the energy." And to be honest, that's scarier than any push could ever be. Cunningham's tweet transformed a chaotic scene into a masterclass in poise. She made herself appear unconcerned, while making Kiki appear like a newbie who was working too hard to become viral. Interview. Sophie's message was bang on. It was crisp and hilarious, and it totally removed any tension that Kiki might have felt she created from the situation. Best of all, it won respect from everyone. Admirers commended her composure. In a league that thrives on plots, players nodded in solidarity, and the Fever's locker room came together around their teammate like never before. This one is officially locked in the upcoming Fever vs. Mystics game, so mark it on your calendar right away, because it's more than just a rivalry anymore. It's personal, and Sophie Cunningham just demonstrated that she's not only prepared for it, but also winning.
The amount of times, like, there are like 5-minute long compilations of Sophie Cunningham starting fights. Like, do we not remember what Sophie Cunningham did last year to Indiana? They literally, I'm not joking when I say this, she walked into an Indiana huddle, threw a blind elbow, and then walked out and got away with it. If Sophie Cunningham just ends up being the villain of the Fever, I think she's the damn villain for the entire WNBA, the old WNBA fan base, with some of the stuff they've said about her. I think she's probably thinking, you know what, let's get the heat off our number 22. When these other teams last year, when they were trying to punk Caitlin, you know what, let's piss off these players enough that instead of them trying to go off Caitlin, get her off her game, they go for me. And that's one of the things with Sophie Cunningham, with those type of players, that people don't realize just how important that they are, and just how big they can be for a team.
The real flex in this entire showdown wasn't who got shoved or who ran to the referees for sympathy, but rather how Sophie Cunningham handled the aftermath. Instead of throwing hands or running to the referees for sympathy, she clapped back with something far more lethal, calm, cutting humor that said, "I see you, I'm not scared of you, and I'll remember this forever."